Yes, our dear learners, you're welcome to this second kind of a lesson in Primary 3. It is going to be presented by Teacher Robert from Light Academy Nursery and Primary School. In the first lesson, my previous lesson, of course, I talked about something concerning operations on numbers. But just like we have already seen it, that mathematics keeps on repeating itself. So this work I'm going to teach, or I started last time, is not new, but I'm just revising and adding a few things to what was taught in some other classes back in P.2 and probably Primary 1. So the subtraction of numbers, we are looking at whole numbers, subtraction basically of whole numbers. But before we go on, we need to understand more of what is meant by the word subtraction. We shall define subtraction by first understanding some other common words that we use to mean subtraction. So these words are always used to mean subtraction. So our dear learners of P3, when you meet any of these words I'm going to write, it means they are telling you to subtract numbers. They are common and you must have seen them. Other words used in subtraction are other words used in subtraction. These are other words. Okay? We can have them, we can list them. The first one, we can use the word difference. When you read the word difference in a question of math, it means you have to subtract. There is this other word, take away. Take away. There is another word which is minus. Okay? Then there is another word which is always used in some question. They say, how many more? How many? We can simply say many more. Many more. So our dear learners of P3, these words here have the same meaning as subtraction. So when we meet them in some questions of math, they are telling us to subtract. Just like you used some of them in Primary 2. Like the word take away was very common in P2. Minus was very common in P2. These other ones, difference and many more, you used them but not so much. But in this class of P3 and some other classes to come, we shall use these words difference and many more and some other words to mean subtraction. Don't forget the symbol for subtraction. I've also written it here just after writing the word subtraction. So in the first place here, under the operation, just like I told you in the first lesson, that under mathematics, we are having 4 basic operations that we always use. And these operations are addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division of numbers. Those are our 4 basic operations that we use in mathematics. Yes, in Primary 2, you looked at subtraction. But the nature of subtraction you looked at was more of horizontal subtraction. If I say horizontal subtraction, in Primary 3, we can refer to this example here. In Primary 2, this is what you used it to actually answer. For example, they used it to say at one time, take away. Take away. Then they could say, for example, 6 take away 4. Okay? At the level of P2, when we are answering this question, the side work was very, very important. You could simply say, for example, you would use balls. I'm going to count 6 balls. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay? Then I cross out 4 of them to mean I've subtracted them. So when I take away the 4, like I cross the first one, the second one, the third, and the fourth. So what is left uncrossed becomes the answer when you subtract 4 from 6. And the answer is gotten as 2. So in primary 2, you used it to actually work out such kinds of questions, which was horizontal kind of subtraction. So I just wanted to break that word, horizontal subtraction. So I've said 6 take away 4. The answer is 2. This is how we were actually using this kind of subtraction to get the answers. However, in primary 3, the subtraction will still continue. But we are just going to refer to this subtraction which uses place values, in fact organizing the numbers in their corrective place values, and later on you go on and subtract them. So in the sum time of this term, you looked at what we call place values of all numbers. The likes of the ones in place value, the tens, the hundreds, and the thousands in place value, and some other place values. Those are the ones I'm talking about. How do they help us in subtraction? They help us in arranging the numbers very well, such that we don't get confused in subtracting them. So I can give a certain example at the level of primary 3. I've said these words are very important in primary 3 subtraction. We are having place values that you already covered. We shall look at the words like borrowing or regrouping. Then we shall also use the word vertical subtraction. Vertical subtraction, place values, arranging digits in their place values, then borrowing or regrouping. So we can actually have a certain example at a P3 level. I can use this one. I can say subtract. The other question says subtract 25. I can use 2 digits. 25 from 47. So we can look at this question. They are saying subtract 25 from 47. What does this one mean? That 47 is bigger than 25. Therefore, these numbers are 2. But when I want to subtract them easily in P3, what do? I organize them following their corrective place values, but I will start from the bigger number. Out of 25 and 47, the bigger number is 47. So I'm going to write 47 first. But I will first give the digits of 47 their corrective place values. So 7 is the first number from the right. So it is under the 1's place value. Then 4 is the second number from the right. It is under the 10's place value. So since it is the bigger compared to 25, I would say 47 subtracted. 47 with the place values as 1's and 10's. I will subtract 25. So 25 has 2 digits. 5 is under the 1's place value. Then the 2 is under the 10's place value. Therefore, I'm going to write 5 under 1's because it is under the 10's place value. So I will have this one subtracted. Then 2 is under the 10's, so I will put it under 4, which is under the 10's place value. Our dear learners, don't forget that at this level, the operation we are using is very important. So since I'm actually talking about subtraction, I will put this subtraction side. Okay? Then I will be able to come and get the answers. Okay? It is really very important that if you get some challenges at one point, you go to the side work, come to the side work. But remember, when we are subtracting or adding numbers, under vertical arrangement of numbers, we start from the right hand side as we go to the left hand side. So the first place value on the right is 1's. So I will say I'm having 7, I'm subtracting the 5. So I can put this one at the sidewalk and I say 7 take away 5. The answer I get is 2. So I can just put that answer I've gotten just down under the ones. Then I'm having another one, which is the 4 under the tens. Take away still 2, which is under the tens. The answer I get is 2. Then I put that 2 under the tens place value. So I will have gotten this answer here at this level. Okay? These questions, the first question I've given here, the numbers are okay. They do not involve borrowing from some place values. Let me give another kind of example. If I'm having this kind of example here, you can give the third example here. They can even say work out. Then they will say 554 take away 28. Okay, these are the two numbers I'm having. I'm subtracting 28 from 554. The first number has 3 digits. The second number has 2 digits. What am I supposed to do? I've already said the words place values. Identifying the place values of numbers is very important. Therefore, for these two numbers, it has no problem. I can start by giving their digits, their correct place value. The first number is 554. So I will start from 4, from the right going to the left. So number 4 is under the 1's place value. Number 5 is under the 10's place value. The other 5 is under the 100's place value. When you go to 28, from the right, number 8 is under the 1's place value. Number 2 is under the 10's place value. So from here, I will first write the bigger number, which is 554. So it has place values as hundreds, tens, and ones. I will have the first 5 under hundreds, the second 5 under the tens, and the 4 under the ones. Then 28, number 8 is under ones. So I'm just going to write it below number 4, which is under the ones as well. Then number 2 is under the tens place value. So after organizing them in their correct place value like this, I should not forget to put the operation, which is subtraction. Okay? We shall have this one now subtracted like this. So I've organized my two numbers in their correct place values based on their digits. So from here, the subtraction starts from the right hand side to the left hand side. We can use our side work as well. Like this, you can put some side work. Then we shall come and say, starting from the 1's place value, I'm subtracting 8 from 4. The number up is smaller than the number down. So it is impossible to subtract 8 from 4. Therefore, what am I supposed to do? We shall go from the 1's place value, the number I'm having is smaller than what I'm supposed to subtract from it. So that subtraction is impossible. I go to the 10's place value, I just regroup or borrow one bundle of the tens. So if I regroup or I borrow from the tens has 5 bundles. So when I remove one bundle, I'm left with the 4 bundles under the tens. The one bundle of the tens, I bring it here such that I add it to 4. And the new answer becomes 14. Okay? So I've said, go to the tens place value, just borrow one bundle of the tens. When you borrow one bundle of the tens from 5, I'm left with the 4 tens. So the one bundle of the tens, I can bring it here. Okay? Such that I'm having the one bundle of the tens plus the 4, which was already there, to give me the answer as 14. Okay? So when I get 14 and now I subtract 8, the result I get is 6. Okay? Therefore, I will be in position to put 6 under the 1's place value. Right? Then we shall go to the 10's place value. Under the 10's place value, I'm having 4 take away 2. That one is normal subtraction because the number from which I'm subtracting is bigger than the number I'm subtracting. So I can say the 4 under the 10's take away 2 under the 10's, the answer I get is 2. Then I will put that 2 under the 10's place value. The other side under the 100's place value, it is just one number. There is nothing I'm subtracting from it. So I will be in position to just put number 5 like that. So our dear learners, when we do this kind of subtraction where we go to the place value, one place value and borrow, we are saying we are regrouping. Okay? Remember, at this level, they can also set this subtraction work in terms of words. I can give another kind of question in form of words. We can have this one here, another example. The question says Peter had 127 oranges. 127 oranges, comma, if he gave away, if I think you can hear those words, if he gave away 32 oranges, okay, if he gave away 32 oranges, okay, how many oranges did he remain with? So there is a question here, the other question I've just written here. We are saying Peter had 127 oranges. If he gave away 32 oranges, how many oranges did he remain with? So what am I supposed to do in this question? I will first write the oranges that Peter had before, okay? The 127 oranges are the ones that Peter had before. So we shall have 127 oranges. But remember, when we are organizing these numbers, we must be careful of their place values. So from the right, I'm having 7, which is under 1's. Then 2, which is the second number from the right, is under the 10's. Then 1, which is the third number from the right hand side, it becomes under the 100's place value. Then therefore, the other number, which is I'm subtracting, which I'm taking away, 32 oranges, it has 2 digits, meaning number 2 is under the 1's place value, so I will put it there. Then number 3 is under the 10's place value. So I will be in position to subtract this, right? So we can subtract this and see what we are actually getting as the result. It is also okay to go to the side work, no problem. We start from the right hand side to the left hand side. I will start from 7, taking away 2. 7 taking away 2, the answer I get is a 5. So I will be able to put the 5 under the 1's place value. So I will have this one as the answer as 5. Then you go to the next place value, which is the 10's place value. In the 10's place value, we are having 2 take away 3. The number up is smaller than the number down, making that subtraction impossible. What do I do in this case? I will go to the next place value, which is the 100's place value, to the left. Then I pick one bundle. Then I bring it under the 10's. So when I regroup from the 100's, or I borrow 1, it had just one bundle. When I regroup, or I remove it, or I borrow it, I'm left with nothing, so it is a 0. So that 1 comes here as a bundle of 10s, such that I can say 1 bundle of the 10s plus the 2, what I get becomes 12. So I will be in position now to subtract my 3 from this new 12 I've gotten. So when I subtract 3 from 12, the answer I get is 9. So the answer here becomes 9. Under the 100 simplest value, we are left with nothing. So I will just simply end up this, and I will say, since they talked about oranges, I can write this one, the units. We are talking about oranges. Okay? You can as well continue and you say, because they said, how many oranges did he remain with? You can say, if you wish, but even if you leave it at this point, the answer is right. But it is also not bad. You can as well say, Peter remained with 95 oranges, like that. Then you underline it. But get me right, it is also possible, it's not a must that you can actually come and conclude it with the words. This is not English. We can actually end at this level as long as we put the units that were put in the question. So because of time, we would actually have a lot of examples to share and we would also share. But because of time, I'm just going to stop at this. Thank you for attending this lesson. Enjoy the lesson. Then at the end of it, I'll answer some questions that you will be able to see just after this lesson. I remain Teacher Robert, Light Academy, Nursery and Primary School. Stay home, wash the hands, and stay safe. See you next time. Don't forget to check on Light Academy web page. Thank you so much. Oh, dear learners of P3, this is the work I talked about. Just after the lesson, we are having some 5 numbers here under subtraction. Just answer them and prove to see if you've understood what we did together in the lesson. Thank you so much.